The 2021 Field of Dreams game might be my favorite baseball game of the past 5 years. It's rare that a regular season baseball game carries much weight to the average fan if it's not already involving your favorite team. But this event was an anomaly. Two teams bound for the playoffs duking it out in a once-in-a-lifetime baseball game. The New York Yankees, the most recognized sports organization on the planet, on their way to a fifth straight postseason berth. The Chicago White Sox, forever connected to the movie Field of Dreams thanks to shoeless Joe Jackson. Beyond that, they were one of the most exciting young teams in baseball at the time, on their way to an AL Central Division crown. Just don't look up what they're up to right now, please. The entire thing felt like the spectacle it aimed to be in all of the pregame ceremonies. You didn't have to care about the movie, or honestly either one of the teams, to get invested in this game. It certainly helped that the game itself was incredibly entertaining too. Dramatic entrances, custom uniforms, a brand new ballpark that honored baseball's lineage. The two teams combined for 9 different pitchers, 8 home runs hit, and 5 different lead changes, 2 of them coming in the 9th inning for a climactic, unforgettable finish. It's probably the best memory of the White Sox core that has since self-destructed. It was a perfect, pure night of baseball bliss. And then MLB said, okay, let's do it again, because everybody likes sequels more than the original. Right before that wonderful game was played in 2021, Commissioner Rob Manfred announced that this would not be the last Field of Dreams game that we would see, confirming next season's contest a year in advance. To be fair, it made perfect sense at the time, being that the 2021 version would have been the second anyway had the original plans for a 2020 game not gotten shelved. When the theatrics of the White Sox and Yankees game took place days later, it made the decision all the more obvious. But from the outset, the sequel to one of the best baseball events of the decade lacked the excitement. The touted matchup this time around would be the Chicago Cubs and the Cincinnati Reds, which felt a bit flat. The Cubs, at the time of the 2021 game, were 13 games under 500 at the beginning of a long, ongoing rebuild from dismantling their championship roster core. The Reds, outside of the pandemic season, hadn't made the playoffs since 2013. These two franchises weren't exactly a sexy matchup, and I wouldn't even necessarily call them rivals outside of them sharing a division. Even if you wanted to stick to historic baseball franchises only, there were the Dodgers, Giants, Cardinals, Braves, and several others to choose from. But in fairness, who knew where they would be a year from then, right? Well, it turns out that they would be worse. A lot worse. The Reds and Cubs both entered their Field of Dreams contest with a record 20 games under 500, 2 of the 4 worst records in their own league. A year removed from a winning season, the 2022 Cincinnati Reds fielded an anemic lineup with a bottom 5 OPS in all of baseball. They also had a struggling young pitching staff that gave up the second most home runs in the game, and had just lost their longtime ace, Luis Castillo, via trade at the deadline. Speaking of trades, one of the guys that they actually used on their promo poster to hype up the event wasn't even on the team the year that the event was taking place.
Who the fuck is this guy, Jesse Winky?
They would go on to finish the season with 100 losses, the first time the franchise had done so in 40 years. It's not an exaggeration to say that this is basically the worst year the Reds could have chosen to put themselves in a national spotlight. The 2022 Chicago Cubs, only a win or so better than their opponent at the time, certainly were underperforming with the talent on their roster. They featured 5 starters with over 100 innings thrown, each of whom had an ERA plus 10% better than league average. Usually that's a recipe for a winning team, but they were middle of the pack in most important team rankings and couldn't seem to overcome a 10-game losing streak that they suffered in mid-June. In a year of highly touted rivalries like the Padres and the Dodgers, the Mets and the Braves, even the Cardinals and the Brewers, this pairing just never really got people excited.
Sorry I yelled at you all these years.
I understand.
Ricky wins again. Can I get a brat?
So the matchup certainly lacked the fire of the one from the year prior, but that didn't slow down the festivities. We had Ken Griffey Jr. and Sr. playing catch on the field, and even though neither one of them played for the Cubs, I really liked that this is how the game opened, and I thought they leaned into their roles really wonderfully. Hall of Famers graced the ballpark with their iconic presence, that's always nice. Hey, we got new custom uniforms too. I really like the Reds ones here. Oh wait. That's the Reds. I'm not crazy, right? That looks like the Reds C, not the Cubs C. Whatever, I'll move past it. It doesn't matter. What does matter is the exciting pitching matchup that we're about to get. Last year, Lance Lynn towed the rubber for the White Sox, entering the game with the best ERA in baseball at the time at 2.04. I know in recent years that we've clowned Lance Lynn for this and this.
Maybe a couple of salads would help. You know,
But at the time, he was the best pitcher in baseball pitching in a nationally televised game that everyone was watching. He'd be passing the baton later on to the all-star closer tandem of Craig Kimbrell and Liam Hendricks. And I just need you guys to politely ignore Andrew Heaney getting the start for the Yankees. Thank you very much. This year, we get the southpaw Nick Lodolo, who was on his way to carving out a solid rookie campaign. Who'd be opposing him on the bump for the Cubs? Would it be fellow left-handed rookie sensation and Justin Steele? Perhaps a gaze into the future of the NL Central, two aces that might reign over the division for the next 5 years? Maybe it's two-time All-Star Marcus Stroman, who's gotten the ball in various big playoff games. Speaking of big playoff games, maybe it's the crafty Kyle Hendricks, a former ERA title winner. Well, no, it wouldn't be any of them. Instead, the Cubs sent out Drew Smyly. Listen, I've got no ill will for Drew Smyly, but we could have got such a fun matchup. Fine. Okay, maybe with an average starter on the Cubs and a wildcard rookie for the Reds, we could be due for some big offense in this game. Seiya Suzuki scorches one into the gap to give us a first inning run, and then Nico Hoerner follows up with an RBI single of his own. Ian Happ doesn't let Nick Lodolo off the hook, knocking another RBI single to open up a 3-0 lead. Much like their Chicago counterpart last year, the Cubs get it going early. And here we go. The Cincinnati Reds have 2 men on in the first inning and a chance to tie the game. Their best hitter, Donovan Solano, I'm not kidding, look it up, he's up to plate. Oh, he pops out. Damn. Alright, that's fine. There's still plenty of time left here. And this Reds lineup has some pieces, like Jonathan India. What's that? Jonathan India has to come out of the game because he got hit by a pitch, and he's getting airlifted to a nearby hospital? Okay, that's not great for vibes, but we'll bounce back. Look, the Reds have 2 men on again in the second inning, and nobody out this time. Drew Smyly would probably have to strike out every dude he faces to get out of this one. He hasn't even done that this year. What's that? Oh, Drew Smyly struck out 3 guys in a row? And the Reds didn't score? Okay. Well, the Reds aren't having fun. At least the Cubs are having fun, right? Wilson Contreras draws a walk and continues his awesome season, and now he'll move on over to second base on another hit by Patrick Wisdom, and oh god, he's down. Yeah, that looks really bad. Yeah, he's coming out of the game. Okay, so no one's having fun. Oh wait, no, he's fine. False alarm, I guess. Or maybe the crop soil at the field has magic healing powers. But good news, guys. The Reds have 2 men on base yet again. Drew Smyly can't escape forever. We're about to get a tie game and a lead change and momentum for Cincinnati. Are you kidding me, Albert Almora? And the Cubs just scored another run. Hang on, guys. The Reds have another opportunity with runners in scoring position in the 5th. Did they score? No, it's just a Joey Votto flyout. The Reds went 0 for 8 with 5 strikeouts with runners in scoring position against Drew Smyly, who turns in one of his best starts of the year. So instead of a barn burner, I've now watched a Drew Smyly masterclass. Good for Drew, I guess, but I don't think this is what the nation tuned in for. Quick interruption on today's video to thank today's sponsor, which is the Farmer's Dog. Every day, more and more people are quitting kibble for their pets and supplying them with real premium quality food, and that's what the Farmer's Dog brings to the table. The Farmer's Dog cuisine is developed with vets. It's pre-portioned for your dog specifically, delivered right to your door, and made with real meats and vegetables. And it's the best option for dogs of all life stages. Whether it's a puppy or an elderly dog, you can feel good knowing that you're not feeding your dog kibble or goo. Help keep your dog healthy and playing ball. Do you guys get it? By going to thefarmersdog.com/jolly for 50% off your first box plus free shipping. It's a sweet offer, and they're a great company that makes a great product. I'm happy to partner with them. Thank you to the Farmer's Dog for sponsoring today's video. Now let's get back to the 2022 Field of Dreams game. Things feel like they're getting off the rails in this game. Why is there a hologram of Harry Carey singing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game"? Do people want this?
I said, Poppy, can he play baseball? He said, man, can he play baseball?
Why is Hunter Strickland pitching in the 9th inning of a nationally televised game? Hunter, just fight someone, man. I'm so bored. Who even cares about Field of Dreams? I mean, really, is this even a top 10 baseball movie we're talking about? This isn't even a hot take. Oh, look at that. Rowan Wick just got the save, and the game is over. And the last 9 Reds hitters were retired in order in a 2-run game. So no home runs hit, no lead changes, 2 injuries to the most notable position players on both sides, and the 2 teams win a combined 4 for 28 with runners in scoring position. So the sequel to the Field of Dreams game was a dud, and there doesn't seem to be another one on the near horizon. But despite all of that, the 2022 Field of Dreams game was objectively a success. It was a sold-out contest once more, with people flying in from all over the country to be at this event, lifelong memories being supplied for thousands in attendance. At the end of the day, it was an uneventful baseball game, but there are hundreds of those every year. In fact, that's probably the majority of MLB games. But be honest with me, before we went through this brief journey recapping this game, did you remember a single thing about the 2022 Field of Dreams game? I'm gonna guess that the answer is no, and that's a shame. In fact, I went around my office asking if people could remember who played in this game, and here are the results. Who played in the second Field of Dreams game?
No one. Got rained out.
Cardinals, Reds? No.
Babe Ruth and his teammates.
Let's do that.
Cubs and Reds.
Cardinals, Cubs. Oh, it's the Cubs and Cardinals.
Rob?
No. What? It's definitely the Cubs and Cardinals, dude.
Cubs and Reds.
No, dude, it was for sure the Cubs and Cardinals.
Cubs and Reds. Castellanos hit a home run.
In the grand scheme of modern baseball history, it's no secret that this game will become a forgotten sequel to one of the greatest ideas MLB has had in the past 20 years. You can see it already. Look how small the blurb is about the 2022 game compared to its predecessor on Baseball Reference's website. The Yankees-White Sox matchup has garnered 10 times the amount of highlight views compared to its second iteration. It will become nothing more than an eyebrow-raising footnote in baseball history. And after all, isn't that what this channel is all about? But anyways, that'll do it for me on this video, and I'll see you guys next time.